Today, I want to talk about how AMC has officially made it to the illegal 14th day on the regulation SHO list. I want to talk about what this actually means for AMC, what legal action can be taken, and why the shorts cannot escape the threshold list this time like they did with Overstock. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And now I'm going to dive straight in with the key information. So, Nate tweeted saying today is day 14 on regulation SHO. If the FTDs and AMC are not covered today by the broker-dealer, then every shareholder has a lawsuit against all of the clearinghouses. He said if the SEC does not enforce regulation SHO, then they are also liable as well. And we've seen recently how lawsuits actually go for them, as the SEC has lost 4 of their last 5 lawsuits. And he said it's the same with FINRA and the DTCC as well. As you can see, AMC is once again on the regulation SHO list for yesterday, the 22nd of February, which marks the 14th consecutive day on that list. This is actually the first ever time AMC has made it to that illegal 14th day on the regulation SHO list. But so what does that actually mean for AMC, and what legal action can be taken not just by us, the retail investors, but by AMC as well? Now, Adam Aron has previously tweeted saying he will only take credible action. He won't just go around throwing out accusations that could be considered defamation of character and could end up Adam Aron and AMC in a lot of hot water. Adam Aron will only take legal action on credible and factual information. He won't just throw out the accusations of synthetic shorting with no evidence that could end him in a lot of hot water. He will only take legal action on credible and factual evidence. But now that AMC has spent that illegal 14th day on the regulation SHO list, which is published for all to see, he can now go to the SEC, FINRA and the DTCC with actual, credible, factual evidence. But it's not just AMC, because we, the retail investors, have also seen that AMC has spent that illegal 14th day on the regulation SHO list, as it's published for all to see, so we can also take legal action as well. Nate tweeted saying, by law, federal law, AMC shares on the regulation SHO list must be covered by the broker-dealers before close of business today. But he said, will they do it? If not, will Gary Gensler and the SEC actually enforce the regulation SHO laws? And he said if by the end of the day that both answers are no, then that's obviously where Gary Gensler stands. He obviously stands on the side of those manipulative short sellers. Now there's actually this extract from some research that was done into the regulation SHO list, or the regulation SHO ruling, and how it's actually enforced, or for a better word, not enforced. It says Rule 203B is a component of regulation SHO which mandates the creation and operation of threshold securities lists. These are securities that have large and persistent fail to delivers that are a hallmark of illegal naked shorting. But in practice, this actually hasn't worked out so well. Many companies remain on the threshold list for months at a time. They don't just stay on there for 13 days and disappear, they actually remain on that list for some extended time. And it says this can be explained by a practice in which the FTDs are rolled over from one brokerage house to another brokerage house. After 13 days, a market maker that naked shorted the shares, aka Citadel for example, is required by regulation SHO to buy shares in the open market and deliver them. However, before the closeout requirements are triggered on day 13, the market maker can transfer the position to another willing market maker or broker, and the 13-day countdown to a mandatory buy-in starts all over again. So effectively, it's not just these shorts playing pass the parcel with the FTDs, it's actually the market makers playing that same pass the parcel as well. And as Nate tweeted, he said these are the 10 largest broker-dealers in the world. If they swap regulation SHO stocks or refuse to abide by American investment laws in covering AMC shares after now 14 days on the regulation SHO list, then they are knowingly assisting in market manipulation. So therefore, we and AMC could take legal action not towards the SEC, but directly against these market makers and broker-dealers as well. But now Biggums believes he's cracked the code as to why these market makers and brokers actually can't reset this 13-day countdown any longer. Also guys, be sure to join me over on Moomoo, the sponsor of today's video, using the link in the description below. You can currently get up to 17 free stocks, entirely commission-free trading, and free level 2 market data. Moomoo is also very easy to use and has tons of technical indicators and advanced charting tools. Moomoo also has free 24/7 customer support, and with Moomoo you can trade around the clock. And he tweeted, he said it's because it smells like the ISDA Phase 6 6-month contracts are expiring in 7 days. And he said for people saying that Overstock was on the regulation SHO list for over 600 days, yes, it's because of those sham resets which phase 6 stopped. He said they can't just reset this 13-day clock at this time around. He said they can pass on the legal obligation, not just reset the timer, to another broker if they accept it, but then this other broker or market maker has to take on the legal risk as well. But there's also this tweet from BAM Investor that I think really explains exactly what's going on with these market makers and how some of these market makers have completely absolved themselves from any liabilities and will refuse to take on that risk. He said the reason I sleep well at night is because I know I'm on the right side of history. He said he personally exchanged a text with Adam Aron, and after confirming in his opinion that his thesis was correct, he personally led multiple calls to rally support for Apes to pay down the AMC debt in lieu of the company selling out to institutional investors. He said through that wooden nickel exercise, he proved to his own satisfaction that the company was or is working with the powers to be to orchestrate an opportunity for the largest, most systemically dangerous or at-risk hedge funds or market makers to cover a portion of their short positions in order to remove the global systemic risk that was created by bad actors. Basically, by Adam Aron issuing these Ape shares, it's given those very few market makers the ability to close out of their short positions and to close out of their FTDs and effectively leave those remaining smaller market makers to take the bait and effectively die. We knew that AMC and GameStop created these massive global systemic risks and absolutely could have crashed the financial system, just AMC and GameStop alone. The Fed even wrote in their financial stability report that back in 2021, it was potentially days away from crashing the entire global financial system. Now, obviously, we're 2 years down the line, and if anything, that risk has compounded and has become even larger. And that's why some of these largest market makers had to find a way out before everything came crashing down. And as BAM tweeted, he said that's why he believes that Adam Aron worked with these largest market makers and likely the SEC as well to effectively absolve these market makers from the giant risk to protect the global financial system. But obviously the majority of shorts and the majority of those market makers are still there. They are still holding on to these toxic liabilities and they will still end up being liquidated when the squeeze happens. The only difference being is that the global financial system will not come crashing down because Adam Aron has effectively saved the world, for lack of a better word. And he said that risk removal, in his opinion, has now been accomplished and it's time to finish the original plan that was most likely set in motion way back in June of 2021, which is obviously to cause a squeeze, liquidating tons of hedge funds and to remove those bad actors from the market. And he said that his models have now displayed proof that his thesis was or is correct, and that the elephants or these giant largest market makers are now actually buying AMC and GameStop shares to prepare for the squeeze. And he said he feels that we will experience a 360 win, which is 1, a win for the company, 2, a win for financial markets so they actually survive, and 3, a win for retail investors. And I think this could also be why Fidelity is becoming even more desperate for your shares. Fidelity is one of those market makers that is likely holding on to tons and tons of toxic liabilities. Fidelity is also one of those trading platforms that likely has tons more IOUs and actual AMC votes compared to the declared number of shares that they actually have. And therefore, Fidelity is trying to do anything they can to locate actual AMC shares, not just for the shorts, but for their brokerage platform as well. And that's why they're now not just offering 70% interest, not just 76%, not even just 79%, but 91.5% interest for your AMC shares. Fidelity seem to be offering more and more and more money, not just for your shares for them to lend out, but for your shares for them to actually locate. And I also wanted to quickly touch on those lawsuits that we've seen over the last few days and answer some of your questions. Many of you obviously gave reasons as to why this pension fund didn't open up a lawsuit against AMC and Adam Aron a year or a year and a half ago. Obviously because AMC wasn't released and we didn't know about the vote at that time. But as Defiant tweeted, he said, I want to state what is painfully obvious to me about the AMC and Ape lawsuits. He said the time to file lawsuits in an effort to win the suit and block the vote was back in December 22nd of 2022, when the vote was first announced. Obviously, Adam Aaron first announced the vote to convert Ape back into AMC on December 22nd. So he's basically saying, why did this pension fund wait 2 entire months to open a suit against Adam Aaron and AMC? He said filing the suit now serves only one purpose if it actually happens, which is to delay the vote. Blocking the vote is effectively an attempt for these shorts to stop the clock or extend the clock and the time period they have to actually close out of their short positions. But obviously it may be that Adam Aaron simply ignores the lawsuit and goes ahead with the Ape vote and conversion anyway. And he said he's been watching these AMC lawsuits come in and only one thing springs to his mind. He said the uncanny resemblance between these suits and the suits you see when a company enacts a poison pill to thwart a takeover. Usually this company that's attempting to make a hostile takeover will then take out tons and tons of lawsuits against the company that's just enacted their poison pill to effectively screw over that hostile takeover because they're salty. And he said rarely does either strategy actually work, basically saying that opening frivolous lawsuits never actually has any real benefit. But guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.